In episode 150 for December 7th, 2020, details about a now patched iPhone zero-click Wi-Fi exploit. The FBI warns of business email compromise scammers using email auto-forwarding in attacks, and how nation-state attackers are targeting the COVID-19 vaccine supply cold chain. The holidays are upon us, so this year consider giving a gift with privacy, security, and health in mind with Silent Pocket's high-quality product line of patented Faraday bags, phone cases, and wallets. Visit silentpocket.com today and be sure to use discount code SHAREDSECURITY to receive 10% off your order during checkout.
Is your team starting to show signs of fatigue from traditional security awareness compliance training, or from phishing assessments that target them for those teachable moments? As we've seen in recent news, these kinds of training are having a negative impact on corporate culture, and they're really not all that effective. So there has to be a better way. ClickArmor is the first gamified learning platform that helps build a self-defending team through engaging learning challenges and exercises. Its unique lesson templates, built with proven gamification techniques, let people learn and exercise important defensive concepts in a safe and fun environment. Whether you need to quickly deploy a training solution that gets people to stop clicking on things immediately, or you've got your own boring content that needs to be put into a more interesting user experience, ClickArmor can help. So go to clickarmor.ca/sharedsecurity to learn how to build a self-defending team.
Last week, a researcher from the Google Project Zero team disclosed details about a pretty serious and very impressive Apple iOS vulnerability that would have made it possible for a remote attacker to gain complete control of any close proximity iOS device over Wi-Fi. Ian Beer, the Google researcher who worked on this for over 6 months, said that it was possible to, quote, view all the photos, read all the email, copy all the private messages, and monitor everything which happens to be on the device in real time. Full details of how he did this are in a very technical blog post, which you can check out in our show notes, but in simplistic terms, he found a vulnerability in the Wi-Fi driver associated with Apple Wireless Direct Link, which is a networking protocol developed by Apple for use in AirDrop and AirPlay to transfer data between Apple devices. The exploits he developed exploited a buffer overflow vulnerability in that Wi-Fi driver to install malicious code to fully access an iPhone 11 over the air, and all by using a laptop, a Raspberry Pi, and some commonly available Wi-Fi adapters. He also put together a few YouTube videos showing what the exploit could do, including one which shows the instant rebooting of over a dozen iPhones with a simple command from his laptop. Now, the good news for everyone is that the vulnerability was patched with an iOS update back in May of this year, and Ian says that he's not aware that anyone was exploiting this vulnerability in the wild. So let this story be a reminder to keep all of your devices patched and updated. The FBI has issued a warning to U.S. companies that business email compromise attackers are now abusing auto-forwarding rules on web-based email clients to increase the likelihood of a successful BEC attack. BEC attacks and scams are one of the fastest growing scams to date, and just last year alone account for over $1.8 billion in losses, according to the 2019 Internet Crime Report. The FBI says that attackers are abusing auto-forward rules specifically in web-based email clients because auto-forward rules typically don't sync with desktop email clients. So this attack limits the visibility to company system administrators. The FBI gave details about 2 recent attacks targeting manufacturing and medical equipment companies, which showed that attackers would have emails forwarded with rules looking for keywords like bank, payment, invoice, wire, or check to the attacker's email address, and then forward emails from malicious domains so that the attacker can impersonate the victim. These attacks are easy to pull off because of the use of BEC-specific phishing campaigns and exploit kits that are used to mimic popular cloud-based email services like Office 365 and Google G Suite to collect user credentials for these services. Once they have email credentials, Attackers try to impersonate employees and insert themselves into communications with vendors, all without the victim knowing because of the auto forward rules in place. Previous BEC attacks will typically try to social engineer victims by impersonating executives or the finance department in an organization. In the advisory, the FBI lists several measures that businesses can take to prevent this new type of BEC attack, including enabling additional email security features available in most cloud-based email services, and of course, enabling multi-factor authentication on these services as well. Over the last few weeks, news that several vaccines for the coronavirus are coming close to being distributed across the world have given all of us new hope that this pandemic will start to get under control. But late last week, IBM's Security X-Force Threat Research Group reported that they have identified a global phishing campaign targeting organizations associated with what is known as the COVID-19 cold chain. Now, the cold chain is a huge part of the vaccine supply chain that makes sure vaccines are stored and transported at a precise temperature. So, for example, the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine needs to be kept at a temperature of about -70 Celsius when it's being transported. IBM said that starting in September, a phishing campaign targeted organizations associated with Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance's Cold Chain Equipment Optimization Platform program, which works to ensure safe and efficient vaccine distribution on a global scale. The phishing email itself was spoofed to originate from a business executive from Haier Biomedical, which is a Chinese company that is a qualified supplier for this program. The company appears to have been used in this phishing campaign because they are the world's only complete cold chain provider. Phishing emails were sent to specific executives in sales, procurement, information technology, and finance, which appear to be key roles in these organizations. IBM states that this phishing campaign, of course, looks to be the work of a nation-state in order to collect credentials to systems that would lead to details on vaccine distribution and other sensitive information, which could lead to black market opportunities. There is also the possibility that whoever is responsible is simply collecting information for further attacks and potential lateral movement across a company's network. Now, at the same time this news was announced by IBM, the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency in the US issued an alert encouraging organizations associated with the storage and transport of a vaccine to review IBM's research and recommended typical cybersecurity best practices, and of course, to remain vigilant over the next several weeks and months as vaccines are distributed across the world. That's a wrap for this week's show. Visit our website, sharedsecurity.net, for show notes, all previous episodes, and to sign up for our email newsletter. First-time listener of the show, please subscribe wherever you like to listen to podcasts, and if you like this episode, hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week for another episode of the Shared Security Show.